Good afternoon, bro. How's it?
Bro, you don't have to be so formal. What the heck?
Yeah, no,
Good afternoon. When was the last time I heard
when was
that?
the last time you heard good
In
afternoon?
primary school or high school?
Yeah, man. So we are back again with another installation of Generation Great.
Yep.
I think we are on episode, what episode are we on?
Episode 11.
Episode 11.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So we've pushed, man.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But
So
we're running low on internet, bro. At this point,
You know?
I'm down. I've said everything there is to say. I'm
know?
joking. We still
So I'm
have
not sure
more
if you
content.
guys have noticed,
Yep.
you know, the set is,
Eesh.
you know,
We're
spiced
trying.
up a bit.
Yeah.
Big shout out to our neighbor V,
Yeah.
who's just decided to spice things up for us.
Like,
man.
I'll be your interior designer.
Like, I'll be your interior designer,
Your sets.
your director, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, today's topic is, firstly, maybe let's start with mantras. Start with your thoughts for the week. What was it that you had to meditate on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I start?
Okay, please start today. I always start.
Yeah, I think for me, what a big lesson that I've learned is consistency.
Okay.
Like, I've been very, like when you do things and then you're like, oh, it's fine. I'll do them again some other time. And there's quite a lot that you learn when you're consistent. And you might think you're not making progress. It's like going to the gym, like you won't see like progress immediately. But 10 minutes or 15 minutes of whatever you're doing at that time, it's up to like hours of whatever that you need to do, weeks, years and months.
Yeah.
And eventually you get to that point where you actually see progress. So I think I was just, consistency was one of those things I had to learn, where I was like, look, in whatever I want to do, I need to be consistent. In as much as I know I work hard, I'm driven and stuff like that, but am I consistent? Because that's actually where the magic happens. It's the small little things, or it's the little things that you do on a daily basis that take you to where you need to go.
That's very good. That's very good.
So yeah, that is my lesson.
I always tell my friends that one thing about me, I'm not the best. I'm just consistent.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to gym.
Sure.
Other things in my life. I'm just I prefer consistency because of everything consistency is freedom. Discipline is freedom.
Sure.
The more you're consistent, the more you get results. And it's good to just know that, you know what, I set out on something and I did it and I completed it through consistency, because oftentimes people bite off more than they can chew. So you have one big project and you can't finish it. Not because you are incapable, but because you are inconsistent. So I think that's a very good lesson that we can all learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mantra for the day was, I was listening to this guy, Alex Hormozi. He said, I might butcher his quote, but he says, you don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof of you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt.
Sure. Okay.
So basically, the premise of that quote is, no matter how much you shout affirmations in the mirror,
if you're not willing to put in the work
and stack up the proof to say who you, because when someone asks you, you're confident because there's work, there's proof.
I can just archives.
Yes, there's proof of work, So you can listen to all the motivational speakers and whatnot and say affirmations in the mirror. But if you don't have proof, if you don't have a stack of undeniable proof about who you say you are, then your confidence is fragile, because you don't have proof. So that was that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And
it makes sense.
Outwork your self-doubt. So that part also, outwork your self-doubt. Meaning you only doubt yourself because you haven't worked hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, it's great.
Okay. It's great. So I think you should continue about today's topic.
Yeah, I like that. And I think also it's what do they say? Action speaks louder than words.
Yep.
Yeah, so you need to act, man.
Yeah.
Like you can say whatever and
you can talk the whole day.
You can talk the whole day, but if you're not acting on whatever you promise to do, it doesn't matter. It's more like motivation, and that's it. But yeah, like I said, our topic for today is the impact that social media has on the human race. I posted I did a post a couple of weeks back where I was just highlighting the dangers of what social media is doing. And I think our sort of like our trail today is not just to discuss the dangers of social media, but also to
just the
discuss
overall impact.
Because there are people who are pushing business on social media, and there are people who are doing very well on social media, and they use social media as a platform where they can actually pursue, their dreams or inspire people and stuff like that. So I think, what is your take on social media, and what is it that you think? So, like, when someone says social media and the impact it has on people, what is your first thought?
When I think about social media, I initially think about how social media started as an innocent little thing where we were all friends, we were just making friends. It was fun. Sure. Remember the starting days of Facebook,
and people didn't have access.
And mixits. It was fun. I get to chat to my friend. I remember those days. Those like social media was to connect like with family and friends. It was fun.
It was more social.
It was more social than it is right now. And now it has transformed into a different monster. And I can't say it's a bad or good monster, but it's huge.
Yeah.
Social media literally impacts everything that you do.
Correct.
And it's now part of society. It's part of the DNA of society. How we do things, how we do everything. We use social media. You can't have a business and not be on social media. You are losing a lot of money. You can't have a podcast, for example, and not have TikTok and Instagram. You are losing a lot of viewership. So I now social media is not just about, just connecting. The one who gets the most attention makes the most money,
Exactly.
And also the one who has the most following can influence and can move it basically can impact society.
Sure.
So that's what I think about when I think about social media in a much more like broader sense. What do you think?
Look, my take is more, I'll just differ with you for a sec.
Yeah.
My take is more on attention, because what led to me saying, look, there's also an adverse reaction of social media insofar as the community is concerned, is because I saw the amount of time that I would spend on social media, and the fact that I would spend so much time scrolling on content that gives me a certain level of dopamine. And it's overloading me with dopamine, in a sense that, look, dopamine is good. Like my teacher used to say, too much of everything is hazardous.
Yeah.
So which means too much of social media has a negative impact as well. Because then I would scroll, for instance, TikTok. You'd go and watch one video, and then it would be like 3 a.m. and you're watching videos of a giraffe kissing a dog and stuff like that.
And like, how did I get sure?
You're not mindful of the time that you've spent looking at something and consuming, because we need to also look at the neurological impact it has on us, because now there's so much that you're consuming, but you are not retaining. It's like I'm looking at all these videos, I'm looking at all this content, but I'm not also structuring my mind to consume, which also leads to like, attention span, and people who are in the spectrum like me, also does not do well for ADHD. When your attention is focused on something that you don't even consume. I could discuss financial impact of it, because look, data is expensive. And you find yourself scrolling through social media, and you waste a lot of money, and you can't stop. And it's like an addict, because it's now and then you go and check your WhatsApp status, you go and check your Facebook, your TikTok, Instagram, and stuff like that. time that you should be spending working or working out or doing other things
productive,
that expose you to the nature, you are spending it on social media. So for me, that was like an alerting, like, oh, look, and as much as most of the work that I do is based on social media, but I also need to detach and be able to say, look, for a certain number of hours, I will not touch my phone. Right. So I think that's where I am. In terms of social media.
So you're talking, but also I can't say that that's a personal impact. A lot of people have that. Even me. The moment I touch my phone, I can't do. Even lately, right? I realized that even when I'm doing something, like maybe I'm working on something, the moment I touch my phone, it just takes one video, just one video.
Yeah.
You just scroll once, you're gone. And sometimes there's let's just say you need someone's contact, or you need to type, you need to reply to something.
Yeah.
On wherever, right? You just touch your phone. You'll automatically just go to TikTok or to Instagram. Me, my biggest thing, Instagram Reels. Oh my God. Horrible, bad. I have a bad addiction, especially Instagram Reels. TikTok, not too much, but also, right? Apparently, right? I was watching, I think there was this documentary on Netflix talking about how social media, how these companies have literally what they call behavioral scientists.
Sure.
Behavioral scientists are teaching people through the features that these social media platforms have to behave. So now you know how to scroll. It's not natural for humans to scroll like that, but they somehow found a way to teach us that. Because even children now, our kids now, they
know like how to
use a phone,
smartphone.
and you like Coco Melon. I didn't show you how to get to Coco Melon, and they also addicted. The amount of time my nephew spends on my sister's phone, it's insane.
It's insane.
The moment they get Gracie's Corner or Coco Melon, they don't want to give you your phone. Forget, it's not your phone, it's their phone.
And it's the consumption for me. It's like, look, a bit of social media is good.
It's good
to consume, but too much of it. Because then, and my thing has always been, look, I need to have a balanced life. If I'm spending 10 hours on my phone, when am I going to work out? When am I going to cook? When am I going to go for a hike? Or when am I going to go and socialize? There was a study that was done on why, like, the youth nowadays or our age mates are depressed. And the study found out that we don't have an outlet. We don't have like a third place where we can actually go to. So it's like, you wake up in the morning, you go to work, or you go to school, and then from school, you come back home, and then you scroll on social media. And they were like, look, the generation before us, they would go and socialize. From work, they go socialize, and then they come back home. And they will do other things. They go from work, they go to gym, then come back home, cook, and have dinner with family. But with us, it's like we've chosen the lifestyle of going to work, coming back, social media, doing the same thing over and over.
While watching TV.
Wow, you get what I mean? You can't even pick up a book now. You can't even cook. You can't even go for a hike or walk. You're also neglecting your other aspect of your life because of social media. And we can say, look, no, but you can choose to not do 1, 2, 3. But look, it's so difficult. And I think a lot of people can relate. It is so difficult to be off social media in a sense that sometimes you will just be bored. And then you're like, what is it that I can do? And then you go log into social media. Boom, 30 minutes is gone, your productivity. Because there's quite a lot of people who are unproductive at work because they're busy with social media. And you understand? So now it moves from being a social platform to a platform. It's just a platform where you just go and be yourself. And we've seen like a lot of people where social media is actually where they thrive. Their personality is linked on social media. And you find them outside of social media They don't have that personality.
Yep.
I mean, there's quite a lot going on social media as well. Apart from bullying, apart from human trafficking, apart from pedophilia and whatnot, there's quite a lot going on social media that we are just scraping the surface right now when we talk about the disadvantages. But I want to chat about the advantages because I feel like I'm more focused on the disadvantages. What are the advantages according to you?
Okay, before we go into like the advantages, I just want to point this out. Social media has now been optimized to grab and capture attention. That's why we're so addicted to it. It has been optimized for that. For it's so addictive because it's literally everything that these engineers and behavioral scientists do is to capture attention. Why? Social media companies are making a lot of money from our attention.
Sure.
The money you make from social media is nothing. It's peanuts compared to what Mark Zuckerberg has made.
Yeah.
What TikTok and all these, companies have made.
Sure.
Because attention now is currency. So now social media, the new way to build money, to build wealth is media, which is social media. And the best thing, okay, now I'm going to transition into why social media has its positive perks. Social media has allowed your average guy to build a platform and monetize that platform and make money. So now you don't need SABC, you don't need TV, because TV has a lot of money.
Sure.
It requires a lot of money for you to maybe run your ads or whatever. Now, the only thing you have to do is post online and consistently do that and build an audience and monetize that audience.
Sure. And you don't even have to do like the door to door.
You don't have to do the
sales or
your phone.
You don't have to interact with the people.
You don't have to. If you don't want to interact with anyone, you don't have to.
Yeah.
What you have to do is you have to build a huge audience, and once you've built that audience, you can launch the products or you can get sponsorships, and that's where the influencers come into play.
Sure.
Because influencers are nothing more than average people who are not celebrities. They're not celebs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're also not famous.
Not famous.
You know. So they're just
here to influence.
They just
influence your buying power.
Exactly.
And the things that you like.
So but also social media has given, you can literally, you're basically now your own network. Basically.
Yeah. Sure.
Because you have you have an Instagram that has X amount of followers.
Sure.
You have a TikTok that has an X amount of followers. You have a Facebook that has an X amount of followers. You have a YouTube that has. So if you accumulate the following across those 4 social media networks, and then you say you're dropping a product, the money that you can make.
Yeah.
So now so what social media has done is it has decentralized the monopoly of media.
Yeah.
So you can be your own media company, like,
Is
so
that
that's
good? That's the good part.
Yeah, it's good because now you have a personal brand. You are monetizing your personal brand. Who's Sia? Sia sings. He has a podcast. He dances. Let's just say you're a dancer.
I wish.
So what social media has done is it has decentralized power from the media companies, from your SAPC, from your DSTV. People are cancelling their
subscriptions.
Their
because it's quite expensive, and it's ridiculous because you're watching the shows all over, like over and over again.
And also, social media has showed us how creative people are. People are so creative. People are so intelligent.
Let's say TikTok.
Okay, South African TikTokers
also
are so creative, but they will roast you first. The first was in corner. After that, just know it's gone. But
I think we're looking at it like you explained the digital monetization of it, right? And I want to just maybe mention this quote. Someone said, social media is free, but you pay with your time. And, I agree with that statement because I'm just like, in as much as, yes, it's free, but time is the biggest currency.
But also there's another quote.
What freaks me out.
Yeah, but also there's another quote that says, social, it's basically the opposite of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It basically says, so it's either you use social media or it uses you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
the
more or
same.
less,
It's the same premise.
But you know what shocks me and what freaks me out is the fact that what I pay my attention to becomes me. Like what I spend my time on takes my attention, and what I give attention to becomes what I am. Because look,
there has to be an exchange.
There has to be like a transaction.
There has to be a transaction.
And then the thing that freaks me out is how social media will give you all the things that you desire. Like you would be scrolling there and you see whatever. Let's say you are into sneakers, and social media will present. So it not only does it influence your what is it? Influence the beauty standards, because obviously Instagram sort of gives you a certain it gives you a standard, a beauty standard that is impossible to reach, ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it also influences your buying power, because if like I see this every time I scroll, and eventually because it's in my sight or in my view, and it has my attention, gradually I will go I will gravitate towards buying it, right? And that's the thing about attention, is if you give attention to and this is just the principle of like a frequency, whatever what is it, the laws of I read this in that book, 50 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
So
48 laws of
48 laws of power. I added the two powers. The 48 laws of power, where it says that sometimes what you give your attention to slowly becomes who you are. And I'm saying, if I'm going to focus my attention on all that is bad, for instance, if I use social media to watch, or television rather, to watch news and see all these things that are bad, it creates a reality that my reality, everything is bad. And that's what I was saying on that post, like it shifts the reality from what is to what seems like. So in a sense that I'm then online and consuming all these other things, and I'm not mindful of my reality currently. I'm not mindful that there are trees next to me. I need to move around and interact with, like, like there's rain outside, the weather's like this, there's sun and stuff like that. But there are people who are indoors for like 20 hours. I mean, the people work from home.
Yeah.
So 20 plus hours you're at home. You're not getting the proper vitamins, because you need the sun, you need oxygen, you need the air, you need water, you need to take your walk.
You need to be social.
You need to be social, right? And social media is like the middleman to that. It's like, you don't have to go to the shops. Do it online. You don't have to go to music concerts. I can play it online. You don't have to
go to your friends.
You don't have to go to your friends.
Them.
You can text them, and you can talk over the phone. And that for me is dangerous, because human beings are not meant to live like that. They're not meant to live in isolation.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, I think it also impacts relationships, because you find that people just come back from wherever they go on social media. They don't really give people the attention that they deserve. And like I said, attention is what you give your attention to will prosper the most. If you give your attention to social media, that's going to benefit you in some way. I don't know how. But if you give your attention to like meaningful things, like your health, your wealth, your time, and your social circle, and gardening and stuff like that, you'll also bear the fruits of that. So I feel like, yes, I don't know.
I thought you were going to take a different direction, but I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect.
Yeah.
I thought that you were going to say social media gives you a false sense of whatever it is, the thing that you desire. So, for example, you're talking about, maybe you see a great car that you want.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like you have it, like you obtained it.
And you want it. And sometimes it doesn't make you feel like you have it because obviously you don't have it. But it gives you the desire. So it manipulates your buying power. That's why I was saying it also manipulates your buying power because
and it makes you think
your decisions are informed by what you think you're interested in, what you see.
But also, I want to say this. You think that, you know what, this house, I can afford it. But your reality begs to differ. Why? Because you haven't done enough work to obtain the thing. And even when you see a beautiful chick online, you're like, I don't want Bamba, Lord, you know.
Yeah.
And reality is, you don't have the means of Umbamba. She has 2 million followers. You have 300 followers, and you shoot your shot. So also, social media has also that influence. You know how there's the rise of OnlyFans and the OF models, and we'll talk about how social media has also sexualized. So do you see how over-sexualized social media is?
And it's making things, that's what I'm saying.
Everything is so sexualized. There's nothing innocent anymore online. Like every post, there has to be a naked chick or someone flexing their abs. Okay, I know I have abs out somewhere on my Instagram, but that was for a photo shoot. It's not something that I always do.
Yeah.
But it's everything.
But also it gives you a certain, like I said, it transcends from beauty from just being social media and it's social in its sense to beauty standards. Like they're filters. They're not real.
Yeah.
And so when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're just like, I'm not beautiful, I'm ugly, because you are looking at all these filters and all these add-ons.
When you look at your picture, the picture is not a real representation of who you really are.
You see, that's why I was saying it shapes your reality, because your reality is what is, and it exists outside of the standard that social media imposes.
Okay, so it does not. It shapes what you think it should be.
Yeah. But that is your reality. It's real.
Okay. So it's shaping your
perception of your reality. But it's not real, because
when you see the filter, when you see the picture, when you see the scenery, you don't look that good.
You don't look like that. And now what it does is, and now it then sets a beauty standard to say, look, if you're not light skinned, or if you're not fair skinned, or if you don't look like a model, don't have abs, you don't look like a model, or if this angle is like that, then you don't fit the script of what beauty is, right? It's the same thing with lifestyle. There's so many lifestyle content creators where people take videos of when they're going out and
what my friends
as well. And it's like the reality now, you're like, everyone is living this life. And I'm not, I'm in my shack, right? Yeah. And it makes you feel like, because that's where depression comes where you're like, I don't feel like I'm living my life to the fullest. No, you are living your reality. And they are also creating their false reality. Whether it's
can I tell you what my friend said? My friend once said, social media is selling you a dream. A picture is nothing more than a still moment.
Yeah.
A picture is literally we can pause and take a picture, but that's one moment. It doesn't show you,
and life goes on.
It's basically a highlight reel. It's not your entire life. And also, people post their wins. They post the good. They never post their bad. Exactly. They never post that shack that you're talking about. They always post Cape Town. They'll always post the beach side and whatnot. But their reality is far and different from that. And also, this is how dangerous that is, right? So now you'll find the influencers showing you that lifestyle. And then you think you can obtain that lifestyle, but your reality begs to differ. And it goes to that point that you said about social media shaping your reality. Because you consume so much of that lifestyle content or whatever content.
You think that's the standard.
Yeah. You now think that, and there's nothing wrong. I think also social media has also showed us how other people are living and that it's possible, right? Yeah. But you also have to come back and be realistic. Where am I right now? In some day, so doing this and this. I'm not in Santa, how do I get there? And then work on a plan of action of actually getting there and living that life that you want, and not thinking that the life that's online is now a reflection of you. Yeah, so social media, bro, has transformed, and it's scary. But also, I think it has given, more than anything, it has evened out the playing field. Sure, everyone has an opportunity to make something of themselves. And everyone can showcase their skill, their uniqueness, their creativity, and more than anything, they can monetize that. I think for me personally, social media, more than anything, it has evened out the playing field, because initially you have to just work and go to Mlung and stuff. Now you can do both, and eventually when you reach a certain amount of followers, you monetize that. Now you get to do what you're passionate about without having to,
So I want to also touch on something that that really is, that I've given a thought to, in a sense that there's a guy called Yuval on TikTok. Yuval sort of tracks where you are. You can be like, Yuval, you can't track where I am and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
do you think he can track us?
Definitely.
You think he can track?
Definitely.
I doubt he can track us. I doubt.
Yeah, are you challenging him?
Yuval.
Are you challenging?
Try and track us. I think he can track people in other.
Because another thing is also the security breach, right? There's also AI. There's also all these things that,
and all the cookies that you accept, and
all the cookies that you accept,
and all the other things, and every time when you sign in, you have to consent to something, and they're basically taking information about you to create an avatar, so they can advertise
what you need.
Yeah, so they can optimize. So
that's like marketing. Basically, marketing where they will give you what you want, will influx you with.
So they've created
content that you want.
They've created an avatar of you. See, somewhere there's a digital Sia that they know exactly what he likes. He wants, the moment he looks or watches something, we now know that, and they're going to optimize for that.
Sure.
Sia wants podcast mics. They show you mics.
They'll show you all the mics that
even when you're no longer on TikTok, you're like, how are you listening to me? You literally talk about a mic without searching for it.
It's the influence. It's the influence of the buying power, because now constantly when you are given mics all the time, what do? You go buy the mics.
You go buy them. So I want to ask this. Do you think these social media companies are also kind of like surveilling us? I think
they are, definitely.
Like, do you think there's surveillance?
Definitely. There are surveys that are done where you don't know how they got their numbers.
But there are people who agree to those surveys.
But there are people that don't agree to those surveys, but people have. Because the thing is, again, they would have data. And no one would account for that data, because if I don't want you to know that I'm a Standard Bank customer, or I have this plan, why are you then counting me in your stats? Who gave you the right to count me? Because it's my personal.
But also, these companies don't allow you to not opt in. They always need something for you. When you say you reject everything, you can't use the platform or something,
Exactly,
because you have to consent to certain things.
So basically, it's like you consent to being used. Okay, maybe that went deeper than. but that's exactly where it's going. And look, if you had, I remember when I would feel, and look, I will take it into the natural, spiritual aspect of it. When you plug out, bruh, I know when I go home, KZN, I don't normally look at my social media, because I usually just go hiking, climb a mountain and whatnot. And I forget that this
so liberating.
And it then shows me how much of a consumer I am when I come back to social media. because every time I'm constantly buying, looking up things, and buying things, scrolling and whatnot. And that feeds the consumer in me, in the sense that, for me to feel a certain way. Because remember, they're not selling you the product, they're selling you the feeling.
The feeling.
So for me to feel a certain way, I'll need to consume, buy this, I'll buy that Porsche, I'll buy that nice chain, I'll buy that t-shirt and stuff like that. So it then allows me, because I'm chasing this dopamine, I'm chasing this feeling.
Can you also talk about how bad too much dopamine is?
Exactly.
Now you are desensitized to the world. Like, you become desensitized to...
What is anti-dopamine? What is the opposite of dopamine? Because I feel like I said, too much of anything is bad.
No, the only way to is to go on a dopamine detox.
Sure.
Yeah, I do that every once in a while. Like, go for a week without touching or...
Yeah.
And it's so difficult. It is so difficult. Deleting all social media for a week or 2 or 3 weeks and not having contact with anyone. If a person wants to reach me, they only have to call me. Yeah. That week, those 3 weeks, those 2 weeks, you can only reach me through a phone call or text message. Not on any social media platform. And it's so liberating. Like, your mind gets clearer. You know, I think that's the only way that you can detox. And we need that. Because social media has desensitized all our senses. Our sight, our hearing. You always want to hear the best stories. You always want to see the most creative. Like,
there is the balance.
It's overstimulating. Social media overstimulates everything.
And you can't break down that information. That's why I'm saying it then goes to attention, because you're
so much that you're consuming at a rate.
Yeah, at a rate that is higher than your normal lokuzana.
Like the way you would process information.
Let's also talk about the fear of missing out, because I feel like that's also very big on social media. Where if you were to go on a cleanse, your biggest concern would be like, how would you missing out on
so much?
So much.
But to be honest,
no one cares. Life goes on, and
no one cares. Whether you're online or not, no one will say, I haven't seen
the
your
things
life
that are important to you eventually come to you. If it's not important to you, and the thing is, a lot of people keep tabs on people.
Yeah.
I use social media. And again, social media is not bad. It's how you use it that is bad. There are people, like you said, who uses it for things that are progressive.
Yeah.
But there are people who uses it for things that are bad. Like I said, people that are asking underage kids out, people that are human trafficking. People that are scamming people online and stuff like
promoting.
That. Do you think people that are promoting amapano and stuff like that?
So do you think where does OF fall? Is it a bad thing or a good thing?
I'm not quite sure, but look, like I said, exposing.
Because now they show their bodies.
Yeah,
and then you click the link, and then you pay for the subscription. So,
but that's the thing. The argument for me.
Yeah, the argument for them is they're making a living. They're not hurting anyone and whatnot. But now the overstimulation and over-sexualization, you know.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Anyone has access to anything now. So through social media. Whereas back then it was like there's certain things that are hidden for a reason. Because look, if you are exposing a 12-year-old on social media and you saying a 12-year-old should have an account on Instagram, they don't know better. So what they consume is their reality. If like a 12-year-old sees like makeup, wigs and moves,
they take that up.
And they take that as it's a norm, right? And my thing is there should be an age restriction in terms of if you have not developed enough, you shouldn't be on social media, because that will shape how we view the world. If you expose a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, they don't know anything about BBL, right? But you're exposing them to a platform that promotes that lifestyle. And they have no choice but to adapt to it. So whatever you are teaching them is like the world is teaching them bigger, other things, right? And that's the thing about access is sometimes access to things is not necessarily good. And I look at it from this perspective. I mean, look, social media has allowed people from all walks of life to interact. And there's also a clash in that because our lived experiences are not the same. Two, adults are now interacting with like 13-year-old on TikTok. And a 13-year-old is now able to say, or they're now saying, what you're saying is rubbish, right? And back then, you would interact with your peers because obviously from your peers, the stage in which you interact is that of your peers. So if I'm a 12-year-old and I'm interacting with like 40-year-olds or 30-year-olds, I'm exposed to that social circle and that way of living, right? And as a 12-year-old, I just want to go outside and play. I just want to go outside and swim and do all these things and be active. I shouldn't be worried about makeup. I shouldn't be worried about going to groove and you have tasting alcohol and all these
and getting
substances.
into a relationship
and getting into a relationship. So now the exposure then transcends from you being a teenager or you being a young person to you have access to what adults have access to on their social circle. And so, that's the scary part for me.
So basically that has kind of ruined the child's innocence.
It has ruined the child's innocence and growth in the sense that they now growing at a rate in which they...
So my question is, who do we hold accountable? Do we hold accountable these social media companies or do we hold accountable the parents? Because
it should be the parents.
The social media companies are saying, okay, look, the age limit is, or the good age is 13 years old, right?
Yeah.
For you to have like a social media account. And then the parents buys the kid a phone, but the kid can put, because also I don't think there's strict measures to confirm how old the person is.
That's the thing.
Open that.
That's the thing. For them, it's like you can have access. Like I said, it's free. Have access to social media, but the content again. I think what is important is the algorithm will give you content that is not for you to consume. So, in as much as parents will say you are a 13-year-old, you're registered and whatnot, because of the nature of access, it allows you to see this other world. It's, for instance, a broke person has access to a rich man's social what can I say, social social exposure, right? So it's not different than that which a kid would have access to conversations that should be held by adults, or over sexualization of women. You're like a 12-year-old. And then now your sort of
view about
women and about sex and about all these other things is now skewed because that is what you are being taught. And it doesn't help that you spend a lot of time on live. It just went deep, right? It
just went.
And I do understand, like that's what I'm saying. Access is very important. Access is very important.
So I want to ask the question about regulation. How do we now regulate social media consumption? Is it like self-regulation? Do we regulate on our own and say, okay, you know what, social media? And then do we need these companies to help us also, you know, maybe have like, because they don't care.
They're not going to do anything. You know, look, instead, they are profiting from whatever we do it.
They won't say, nah, after 3 hours, TikTok will shut off. No, they don't care.
It's like
the longer you stay on, the better it is for you.
It's like
for them, actually.
And places that sell you out.
They don't want you
They don't want you to stop. It's business for them. It's business as normal. It's the same with social media. The only thing you can do is
so you think limit stricter regulation.
Not even stricter regulation. I don't think that would.
No, I mean from
the parents' perspective.
No, I mean from from the governments. You know how Mark Zuckerberg and all these CEOs recently were questioned by, I think the what do you call this? I think they were questioned by the authorities in the United States about regulation and about how they intend on helping or on reducing the impact that social media has on society and whatnot. I think Mark Zuckerberg, the TikTok CEO, TikTok is also facing a ban because apparently TikTok is giving user information to the Chinese government. Okay, that's another topic.
But all these things have one thing in common.
Yeah.
Access.
Access.
If anything restricts your access, it means you are barred from knowing it. And in a good or a bad way, because sometimes you restricting access to things could mean that you want a certain race to not have privy to what conversations are happening. Right? So it's good and bad. That's what I'm saying. Access in their perspective might do more harm than good, but access in your perspective might do you good because you are restricting yourself from consuming so much for your own mental well-being or for your own physical well-being or whatever well-being you aspire to have. You can still have access to that information, but it's not following you around. You can choose to have access to it, you can choose not to have access to it. So the choice to then indulge lies with you. I don't want people to hide certain information, certain things, certain opportunities, because there are opportunities that are on social media, right? So you get a lot of opportunities on social media and ideas as well, and skills as well, right? And you need those skills, but at what cost? At what cost are you willing to get those things? So yeah, that is my 2 cents.
Yeah.
So any closing remarks?
Well, I think social media is going to get worse because now we'll have chips and we'll have those, what do you call them? AR, whatever you call headsets. The way we consume content has already changed. Not so long ago, we could sit and watch whatever generations, whatever, staying for 30 minutes without worrying about your phone. But now you don't want that. You want to watch everything in part 1, part 2, part 3. Social media has literally changed how we consume content.
It's like I can watch the whole series in 3 days.
There's this lady who blew up, Risa Tisa. I never actually followed her story, but she blew up because of how she structured her content and people liked how it was. But also she was doing like, I don't know,
which is something like
10 minutes, I don't know, 50 parts or something. Social media has literally changed how we consume content. Like everything now has to be short, it has to be precise, it has to be
what
to
about
the
your
point.
attention span?
Our attention spans have drastically gone down, like they have plummeted. You can't concentrate on one video for
and our need for dopamine has
increased also because you need that high.
That high.
You need that high, inconsistent high. And social media, to be honest, in as much as there is a lot of bad, but also there is a lot of good. The fact that now you can you get to expose your creativity, your being, your uniqueness to the world and monetize that. I think that's a good thing. And also, social media has allowed us to have this wonderful platform that we're building here.
So big shout out to social media.
Big shout out. The only thing I have, I don't know, should we go into censorship or should we wrap it up now?
Yeah, I think so. But I think my perspective is access. I always speak on it.
Okay, let's touch on censorship a bit. Do you think we should be censored? Because most social media networks are based in certain information being spread, right? And they say, no, this information is dangerous. But who decides that? What if that information that they're blocking us from is the right information? You know, for example, during that the CO-19 thing, right? There was a lot of misinformation, and they won't admit that. They won't come back and say, no, we were wrong. That certain virus wasn't as bad as, but at the time they're saying, no, this is bad, and they block people who were talking the truth about the virus,
But you see, what censorship then will do is it's going to
do
block everyone. That's what I'm saying.
Do we need freedom of speech completely, or do we need some?
But freedom of speech comes with a certain level of responsibility, because if you speak freely on certain things, there are adverse reactions to it, and you are liable.
I think people mistake freedom of speech with being disrespectful. I think
exactly.
Personally,
but
I don't think
people online don't know the difference. That's why I was saying that.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should be disrespectful to a certain group. No, I disagree with you on this basis.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that I like you any less, or you guys are doing the wrong thing. But I simply disagree with that group. I disagree with how you think and do this. Yeah. And for me saying that, should I not be censored? Because I simply disagree with you. And people think, no, you're disrespectful. No, I'm not.
But who decides to do the censor? Because I think once we have...
that's the thing.
Who is the decision maker in terms of what is censored or not? Then we can then say, look, we trust you enough to give us information that is truthful, or to block out information that does more harm than good.
Because I'm looking at apps like X recently, Twitter recently, X, right? Yeah. There's not that there's no censorship, but it's not as much as with TikTok, Facebook, and whatnot. Because I think these other apps are controlling people, controlling the information, which is also dangerous, and also too much freedom of speech is also detrimental.
So you can never win.
But ultimately, social media is different. It's crazy how it has transformed. But man, I think we should wrap it up in.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Hi Coco, how are you?
I'm fine.
Very well, thanks. Look, we are discussing a topic here that involves social media and the impact it has on society. So we've sort of seen various trends that relates to the influence that social media has on kids, on adults, and basically the community as a whole. So what is your take on the impact that social media has on the Black community?
Yeah, it's not really a good impact, is it? If you look around, what are the kids really doing? It's all about TikTok. Like the trends that they're taking, the dumb trends that they're doing makes no sense to me. Do you understand? It's like it's not really uplifting the community at all. Basically, literally dividing everybody. So, I really don't get social media.
So what is it that we can do?
I just find it fake. Well, you can't really stop it. That's the problem.
Sure.
So, we had Tabisong Youth Club. So that's something
that could distract you from
that,
focusing
from
on
the phones and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. Do you understand? Something to do, because with the Tabisong Youth Club, they went to Umoja, Lion King. So it did something for them. That was an impact on the community.
They were outside the digital world, and they were able to explore other things.
It's a different era, but I think that can do something for them. That can distract them from nonsense.
Do you think
nonsense for me? I'm sorry.
Do you think we as the older generation
We're not helping. We're not helping. Not that we can't. We can. We're not doing it because we're influenced by it as well. I've seen older people trying to be on TikTok. Like, how is a 50-year-old? What is a 50-year-old doing on TikTok? Seriously, I understand. Okay, maybe something for the kids, even though it's not good. Some people are using it for obviously good things. But we're too old to be on TikTok. We should be showing these kids things like how we grew up, and they don't even know half of the games that we used to play.
That is also so. As someone who has observed, because we had a conversation where you said you're actually not active on social media. So as someone who is an observer outside, would you say we are as active, or we are as alert as we should be? So what I want to say is, because of social media, we've sort of observed that people's concentration span is shortened, because obviously you see a reel, you see
they're like 2 minutes, 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute. So there's quite a lot of dopamine that comes to you as a person, and you sort of spend a lot of which keeps you there.
Sticks to the brain
and
as
it sticks
well.
to the brain, and you spend a lot of time swiping and sliding and whatever. So do you think outside of the concentration span, outside of the distractions, do you think it also has a mental health or physical
100%.
health on the well-being of
100%.
yeah
100%. There's not really that many positive things out there.
Yeah.
You look at it like the only social media really and truly I have is like Facebook, because obviously family and friends. So the one or two videos I see, like they're not positive.
Sure.
Like,
would it help if we were to like include more black positive
of course, but do you really think that they're gonna allow that?
Okay.
Because that's pushing positive, black people.
Yeah.
They're not gonna allow that.
Okay.
They stopped that. I used to watch. I grew up on black positive sitcoms.
Sure.
And now there's nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I doubt they're gonna. We can try. Like, I'm not saying don't try. We can try, but people have been trying to and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Cutting down their videos, canceling their videos. So I don't know.
Okay. No, thank you so much.
Sorry to sound so negative, but it's just like
no. It is what it is.
It's I don't trust it.
I like how honest you are, because look, it also gives us an insight in terms of really like the core, because we want to really discuss the impact it has. So we need to also go to the core element of what is wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't see a good impact.
Yeah.
At all on our kids.
Okay. No, thank you so much.
Them 16 and pregnant nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you see that one? How many? 16 and pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not good for us. Okay.
Just had to add that in there.
No, that's good. That's good. No, thank you so much for taking the time to answer this question. I think as someone who's an observer, you have like a sort of what is it? You sort of have your eye on what is going on, because as a lot of people, we are on social media. I mean, this will be aired on social media. So we are also beneficiaries of what social media does for people. But for someone who's outside and observing and saying, look, this is doing more harm than good.
Exactly.
So I think we have your opinion, and it's actually valid. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
So, unjani mfethu? Ngiyaphila. Basically introduce igama lami Bandile Dumulo, Tumeso Timdi. Okay. Bandile, are you on social media? Yeah. Okay. So, lab is thinking to WT, is social media good for you or is it bad for you? So when a woman is it good for you? You seen any progress with regards to how you function as a young person, which is influenced by social media, or is it just bad?
For me, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Because social media yavilapisana. It motivates, peer pressure, anxiety, depression. Don't get come on social media. Ingane is comparing to those on social media. Sure.
Yeah. So as a young person, what would be the solution? You would be a person improve upon those like listen to Buba doesn't want to key.
The solution ukuthi social media ngingayenza ukuthi influence abantu ukuthi ba exercise.
So
Bangacabanga kakhulu, babanika motivation, daily motivations, sinakho konke.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think the content that is posted on social media is positive or negative?
Khona positive, khona negative.
Yeah.
Negative ilezi nje ukuthi yabo abantu baposta ama-soft life wabo bafakela abanye abantu ingcindezi.
Sure.
It's positive itsho ukuthi bakhona abanokumotivate kodwa bancane.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Ngiyabonga mfethu ukuthatha isikhathi ukuthi usitshele uvolo wakho. Thank you so much. Yabo. Sabona bhuti. Bhuti wami. Unjani? Ngiphile ngidaphi. Sicela izintroduce.
Mina ngumbuso Candace myself.
Okay, sijabulele ukwazi Mbuso. Labe sidinga udaba oluphathelene ne-social media. So I think you've also noticed that the social media is impacting the youth. You've seen people on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. What is your take? Is it spreading positive, or does it have positive influence on the youth, or does it have negative influence?
First thing, mina into engayisho, social media manje sine negative impact. because abantu sebabhizi baphutana nezinto engamelanga baziphuthe, and i-social media is all about thola umsebenzi, like ukufuna uma ngabe ufuna introduce into yakho,
Sure.
like ukwazi ukungena ku-social media uyi-introduce manje it's all about jokes on social media.
Sure. Okay. Yini mhlawumbe singayilungisa for us ukuthi mhlawumbe ku-position right ukuthi i-social media is benefit. Do we need to change the content? Do we need to limit the access, or do we need to limit abantu bangena social media? What can we do?
Ngashintshwa i-content nje, mara interesting into engayenziwa ngathi ngaba khona another app nje ezokwazi ukuthi abantu bangene just to spread my business ideas, thola imisebenzi, advertise izinto zabo.
Sure.
Because i-Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, it's all about manje abantu ngijoke abantu ngokuthi banani.
Sure.
Yeah. So kumele kwenziwe i-app nje just nje ezokwazi ukuthi specifically youth.
Sure.
Ukuthi bakwazi ukuthi nje bazi-introduce bakwazi ukuthola ama-job opportunities, nabantu abanemali-ke bakwazi ukuthi babe ne-access ukuthi bathule lapho abantu abafuna imisebenzi.
Yeah.
Into efana naleyo.
Okay. Ngijabula kakhulu. Thank you so much for taking the time to